Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully. I apologize for that burp. I just had dinner and it was delicious! But anyway, welcome back to the Resident Evil Code Veronica commentary, and, well, yeah, we're pretty much reaching the end here. I mean, it's just a short hop, skip, and a jump back to the Ashford residence, and of course we have a bunch of zombies blocking our way, but they are nothing compared to the power of our, well, explosives. And now you can see the destructive power, but, yeah, I wouldn't recommend using the bowgun bolts just, on these thralls, but again, that is a designation of how powerful they are. Save them mainly for the Bandersnatchers and, well, a pain in the arse that you're going to be seeing next part, but in the meantime, though, yeah, not really too much to worry about. And, again, looking ahead in the part, yeah, I don't actually think you really need the lighter at this point, so, like, the only real choking point is, well, that little tunnel, right after the doctor's office, so, yeah, you really don't need the lighter up at this point, although, if you do plan on completing the Rodrigo side quest, I recommend you do it now before anything else, because, well, after a few upcoming events, you probably won't have the chance. At least, I think. I'm not really too sure what happens if you try and, approach him after certain plot events advance, because, well, I don't know. You'll see why in a minute, but, I guess this is your last possible opportunity to give Rodrigo the hemostatic medicine. And the reason as for why you won't be needing the lighter at this point is because the bats have been replaced by zombies. Which admittedly is kind of easier, so isn't this kind of a downgrade? I mean, I know the bats usually end up going down after like one bullet, but I mean, even still, you're probably going to waste more bullets trying to aim at the bats than you are, like, trying to aim at the soldiers here, so really, what's the point? But in any case, pretty much the last stretch you have to get any supplies you can. And really, the only place you can go is like that room with the Bandersnatcher, so really, there's no point. Also, notice the decor of a giant hanging body suspended in the middle of the air. Does somebody say foreshadowing? Because I can. I mean, admittedly though, it is actually a really cool bit of symbolism, and, well, I mean, design-wise, it just has this really cool look to it, but, let that be an example for what's to come, because nothing is what it seems. We can't trust our eyes anymore. We can only go forward into the darkness. But yeah, in spite of the number of zombies they have to kind of halt your progression here, basically collect the two little ant prisms that you found, and, well, basically put them to use on the little jewel case that you found playing the music box, and, well, the path shall be illuminated to you. And again, it does also continue to give you a bit of a window into the Ashford twins' past, and, it's also something I can actually credit the visual design for, because again, you see here with all the creepy dolls and, military toys, it does kind of highlight the sort of life that Alexia and Alfred had growing up, and again, it's really the way in which they develop the Ashford twins that really adds to the not only the creep factor, but again, a lot of the reason why they developed the creepy habits they did. Like, I mean, again, stuff like this is legitimately creepy, and I suppose one might consider it something a little bit similar to, say, like, something that Resident Evil 7 and 8 actually ended up doing with the, retrospective antagonists in that game, but I kind of feel like Code Veronica, at least mainly with its more scalpel-like approach, really tends to hammer it down a little bit more. But again, it's still very early days for Resident Evil 8 for me to comment on, so again, I'm not really gonna say too much on that, at least until I've given the game, like, at least a couple more playthroughs before I solidify my opinions on it. A pretty nice game in every other regard, though. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed it. But anyway, now that we have the original music box, we can now basically use it because, again, as you'd expect with those, huge poster bed things that only the 4 richest kings and queens can afford. Yeah, pretty much just go to the other one and, we'll be seeing some, shit. What shit? But, of course, we have another zombie in our way. By the way, you might be thinking you could move that, little disguised statue thing there. But you can't. You do not know. It is immovable. But, yeah, this is pretty much the thing we need to use, and, basically, now that we're in Alexia's room, this will reveal the path that we need to go. And, Alexia seems to be the key here. Wonder why that is. Could it be that the family preferred her to Alfred? And of course, once again, we get the leitmotif theme, and I hope to God nobody was sleeping in there when that tends to go down, because that looks like it would fucking crush Alexia in her sleep. But come on, I'm just being a dumbass. Alexia ain't dead. She's merely sleeping. But yeah, as we climb up into here, we actually begin to see basically the place in which the twins were kept. At least during their teenage to adult years. But, yeah, this is basically where they got to play when they were kids. A very, very creepy place. There's themes of ants, and again, as is probably with their more traditionalist childhood than most kids, yeah, they were pretty much raised very much on the idea of knights, queens, lords and ladies, and, well, very old-fashioned military kind of values, as you could tell with Alfred's obsession with military hardware and, all that kind of stuff. And, yeah, examine the dragon butterfly as they did in the video, and, it becomes a key. Admittedly, though, I have to kind of embarrassingly admit on my first playthrough I didn't know where the lock was, but, yeah, look for the ant. There's a hole in its mouth, and that's where the key goes. And that shall unlock the path. By the way, that is a very PS1-looking horse, like, seriously. Actually, in fact, I'm pretty sure Silent Hill 1 had a better-looking horse than that. But yeah, that basically gets you access to the rest of the, well, attic area, and, this will pretty much reveal everything that you need to know, because, yeah, while we know all that we need to know about Alfred Ashford, well, actually we're going to be learning a bit more about him, more than we ever really wanted to know in fact, but this will tell us a little bit more about Alexia. But again, first things first, so yeah, you can also have a save of the game, obviously it's there for, well, plot reasons. But go up here and we will find a certain confessional letter from Alfred Ashford, and have a keen eye for some of the terms he uses there, because again, symbolism is rife in Japanese storytelling, and yeah, it really gets up into its skin with very creepy shit. A confession letter, basically, well, yeah, he's pretty much prostrating himself for his sister, and yes, he does legitimately love Alexia. Yes, in that case. Again, she reigns the world as queen, and he is her servant. And, like, no, it isn't really like that sort of simpering devotion that you might think in the traditional sense. No, it legitimately is, like, God, earlier scenes, bad, scary. Solidus-Skully needs a cuddle and a blankie, and a very long shower. But of course, this is also where we get the final Navy SEAL, and, yeah, this pretty much means we can blow this berg. But again, it's also another article that I want to call your attention to right here, because it kind of details a few of Alexia's accomplishments. Basically, at the age of 10, she was pretty much seen as a child prodigy, and something of a genius to the point where she was offered the position as head researcher. Bear in mind, she was at the age of 10. I think even Rebecca Chambers would be shaking a fist in anger at Alexia's achievements and getting incredibly jealous. But let's see. An heir to the Ashford family history, and someone who was a child prodigy genius, much in the same vein as Veronica herself. What a coinky-dink. I wonder why that is. But in any case, I'm sure nothing creep-tastic will happen, or that we'll ever see Alexia ever again. Yep, nothing can ever happen now that we've had our bit of plot exposition that adds to the creep factor, and we can just go on our merry way, never once knowing that the many were sacrificed for the few. But, yeah, these upcoming cutscenes are going to be revealing a lot about the characters, and, well, yeah, just enjoy this confrontation right here. Catch you dudes and dudettes in a bit.
Claire Redfield, hold it right there.
We meet each other at last. A pity I must say goodbye so soon.
I am Alexia Ashford. For the pride of the Ashford family, I will kill you.
Wait!
What's going on?
Steve! A secret door!
After her!
Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's just a scratch.
This must be...
What? No!
Wait a second. What just happened?
So there never was an Alexia after all.
You mean he thinks he's two people? Okay, that's it. Let's get out of here.
Well, there you have it, dudes and dudettes. There was no Alexia Ashford at all. She's dead! Bam. And also, I mean, at the risk of spoiling something here, but considering the fact that Alfred was pretty much able to match Alexia beat for beat, you know, vocalizations and, you know, all that kind of stuff, was the implication that Alfred was meant to be born intersex? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke or anything, I'm legitimately curious, because, the way in which he was, I mean, obviously, for the real-world reason, it was because they had Alexia's voice actress, you know, mimic, you know, voice the lines in which Alfred was pretending to be Alexia, but, like, in terms of, like, his biology, was Alfred, again, the game never really outright, well, okay, there is an implication that does kind of delve into spoiler territory, but, I mean, was that ever an implication during the script process? I can't exactly be certain, but, yeah, it seems the spell is broken, and Ashford is now gonna be a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, more than he probably already was. And, once again, Steve, ever being Claire's knight in shining armor, has once again redeemed himself once more. Like, I mean, again, I can get why people would dislike Steve Burnside earlier on for, you know, his emotional outbursts, but I think it's really around this point in the game where he does turn around and, well, really start proving his usefulness, so... Again, I don't quite get the hatred he gets, at least to the same level as, some of the more hated Resident Evil characters later on in the series, so... I don't know. Like, I mean, he has his dumbass moments, sure, but, I don't know. He has an equal amount of, heroic moments that kind of offset the balance, really. But, well... Now we're heading into the final preparation territory. Pretty much get all the items you need, and for goodness sake, make sure you store the fire extinguisher in the item box if you haven't already. And, well, yeah. We've pretty much got everything prepared, and you might have been noticing that little glowing, item right on the outskirts of the mansion here. There was a reason why I didn't pick it up, because it is in fact the second, or I suppose in this case the last, navy-proof seal that we need to, basically unlock the airstrip and get aboard. There was a reason why I left it behind here, and, well, at long last, our fruitful endeavours have come to an end. I mean, obviously it was for item space reasonings, but all the same, it's just, some items you need to pick up, and that's only really something that you'll learn through multiple playthroughs, so, yeah. Hot tips. Oh, I thought it was actually around this point where the alarm started going off, but, no. Well, you'll see in a minute, but, yeah, this is pretty much the calm before the storm as the zombies that continue to attack, and we get, traditional Resident Evil escape sequence music, which will inevitably show us getting the island blown up. Blown up? Goodness gracious, your grammar is atrocious. And here we go. At long last, we finish the continuity.
The self-destruct system has
What?
been
Alfred's
activated.
insane. He's trying to
All
blow this entire
personnel
place up.
evacuate immediately.
Claire! Those must be the remaining survivors.
We'd better get out of here too.
Right. Let's go!
And now we have Steve as our budding companion. Well, sort of. He's basically just sort of going on ahead, but... Yeah, now we have our escape sequence music. I actually really do like this theme. Not quite my favourite Resident Evil escape sequence music, but... Again, it really does amp up the tension here and give the music a very lively jolt. But again, implant all the... Actually, no, it's not here. It's a little bit later on. Yeah, so yes, now both Steve and Claire get to ride the... What is it? Is that navy blue or ocean military grey? Fuck it. The navy grey submarine, a song the Beatles made when they were on drugs. I think, possibly. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was given the title of the video. But yeah, basically we're just going to the airstrip, and that's pretty much where our final puzzles remain. Waiting, we are still waiting. Kinda wonder what sort of awkward conversations they would have when you're waiting in a very tense situation, but you have to wait for a lift or a transport to get to where it needs to go. I guess maybe very intense silence would probably be what you're thinking of, but in any case. It's not... No, I'm thinking of a later segment. But yeah, I mean, pretty much Steve is leading the way to where to go, so again, if you don't know what you're doing, then just follow him. But yeah, I was thinking about a certain enemy type that Veronica actually introduces, but we won't be seeing in this segment, so I'll stay my tongue on that for when we encounter them as Chris. And much to your chagrin, no, you can't interact with any of the baggage or anything else, because, well, we gotta get going! And just maneuver around zombies. Oh god, I just remembered something as well, but that won't be something we'll be seeing until Chris's playthrough, so yeah, nothing to worry about at this point. God, he seems to be awfully calm for someone who's just sort of... I'm sorry, Steve, are we boring you? I'm sorry, this exciting escape sequence isn't interesting enough. But yeah, implant the Navy SEALs and we'll pretty much be on our way, really. Well, that's one. That's two. And the third one. Yeah, again, it's pretty much just like a glorified lift with a extensive animation sequence that basically leads down into the cockpit here, really. Kind of makes it a little bit more tense when you get the timer going, but we'll save that for next time. So on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Resident Evil Code Veronica commentary, well, takeoff is gonna be a little bit more complex than perhaps you might think, so catch you dudes and dudettes next time, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
No! We can't take off unless we raise the bridge!
Leave that to me. You stay here and make the preparations for takeoff.
All personnel, evacuate.